Hi, I'm Bridget. My Girl Scout Gold World is real world ready, financial literacy and real world concepts for young adults. Today, we're going over budgeting and saving. Why do you want to budget and save your money? If you don't budget, you could run out of money. You also won't be saving any money. So when you're older, you will be sad that you won't be able to buy a car or house or play pickleball with your friends. There are some things that are necessities in life and some things that you just want. Necessities are like food, water, and shelter. Well, things that you want might be getting your nails and hair done, new shoes, or clothes. And there are also things that you should save for your future, like college tuition, buying a house, or a car. Here's a sample on how to budget for success. The point of this is to help you understand what your annual spendings are. Because if you make $10,000 a year, you can't live in a place where rent is $18,000 a year because you'll already be in debt just from that. And that doesn't even include food or utilities that are also necessities. Once you figure out what your annual spendings are on necessities, you can figure out how much money you have saved to spend on things that you may want but aren't necessary. Now, let's talk about balance sheets. A balance sheet is a snapshot of a person or company's financial health at a specific time. There are three key terms when talking about balance sheets: assets, liabilities, and equity. Assets are property or anything you own that holds monetary or money value, like cash, clothing, or investments. Liabilities are your debts or obligations due to someone else, like your credit card balance, phone bill, or car insurance. Equity is total assets minus total liabilities. It can also be called a person's net worth. Let's take a look at a sample on your right. Liquid assets are readily available to you. Things like your bank account or cash you have in your wallet because you can access it almost instantly. Whereas things like investments and personal property, you have to sell those in order to get the cash to use. They are longer-term assets. They can't be accessed instantly. Another example is a house. You can't just sell your house in a day and get the money right away. Liabilities work in the same way. Current liabilities are due in 30 days, things like your credit card bill and your phone bill, whereas long-term liabilities can be like an education loan. You have more than just 30 days to pay back your education loan. Moving on to interest and compound interest. Interest is how much you get paid or pay for money over time. It is quoted in percentages. It can either be simple interest or compound interest. Simple interest is paid only on the base amount, while compound interest is paid on the base amount plus on the amount of the accumulated interest from previous periods. Here's an example of how simple interest works. If you save $100 at 10% interest, after a year you will have $110. After 2 years, you'll have $120, and after 5, you'll have $150. So you're getting $10 every year. Now it gets a little more complicated and exciting with compound interest. Let's say you save the same $100 at 10% interest, both compound interest. After the first year, you still have $110. But for the second year, you will have made $121. This is because instead of taking 10% from the $100, you take 10% from the $110 that you made the previous year. So by the fifth year, you will have made $161. With compound interest, you make $11 more over the 5 years on every $100. It may not sound like a lot of money, but that's only because it's $100. Imagine if it was $10,000. Here's another example of compound interest. If you save $20 a month, you will save $240 in a year. Now, if you put that $240 in a bank at a 4% compound interest rate, in the first year you will earn $10. Who cares? But in 10 years, that will become $3,000. That's sounding a lot better. And in 20 years, that same $240 becomes $7,500. The benefit of saving every month and earning compound interest is powerful. This is why vampires are so rich. Ever watch Twilight? And there's more. If you save $1,000 each year with an 8% compound interest rate, in 15 years you will have earned $34,000. Wow. Here's how the rule of 72 works. If you take the number 72 and divide it by the interest rate you are earning, it will tell you how long it takes your money to double. In the example on the graph, you have doubled your money in 9 years. Now let's take a look at buying versus renting. This example is for a house. When buying, you either pay whole price of the house up front or borrow money to purchase. When you purchase it outright, you own an asset which can be sold at a later date. If you want to borrow money to pay for the house, you apply for a mortgage. A mortgage is a loan from a bank used to help purchase a home. It has to be paid back over time, usually 10 to 30 years, and includes an interest rate. When renting, you pay a certain amount every month to use the house, but you have to agree to do it for a certain amount of time, called a lease, usually in years. Below is a simplified example of buying versus renting an apartment. For renting, you take the rent of the apartment every month and times it by the 12 months in a year to total your rent to $36,000 a year. Now, let's say you want to buy an apartment. The apartment costs $500,000 to buy, and you need to put down a percent for down payment. In this case, it was 10%, so put down $50,000. You need to borrow $450,000 called a mortgage. There is a cost to borrow that mortgage, in this case, 7% interest rate. So every year it costs $31,500 for the mortgage, but some of that money is tax deductible, so you save $10,395. So every year to borrow, you're paying $21,105. Similarly, when getting a car, you need to decide if you want to buy it or lease it. Leasing is like renting, except for things that you don't live in. Car leases are usually 3 years, but can be fewer. The shorter the term, the more expensive the interest rate is. Let's take a look at an example. Let's say you want to lease a Honda Accord for $30,000. You typically pay in monthly payments around $400 with a $2,000 down payment. It costs about $16,400 over 3 years. You don't own the car and must return it or buy it at the end of your lease, often with mileage and wear and tear limits. Now let's say you want to buy the Honda Accord. With a loan, it costs around $530 per month with the same $2,000 down payment, totaling $21,080 over 3 years. But at the end of the lease, you own the car. So if the car is worth more than $4,680 at the end of the 3-year lease term, you would have saved money buying it. Leasing is more affordable short term, while buying offers long-term value and flexibility because you own an asset. Now let's go over some basic need-to-know life facts. A woman's size 9 shoe is a men's size 7 shoe. Thousands of English words can be spelled using only the left hand while typing correctly on a keyboard, while only a couple hundred words can be typed using only the right hand. Alaska is the easternmost and westernmost U.S. state because it spans the eastern and western hemispheres. Different screwdrivers are used for different things. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. When tightening something, you twist the screwdriver to the right. When loosening it, you twist it to the left. Thank you so much for spending the time to listen to my presentation. I hope you learned a lot. There are some follow-up questions at the end of the video. Thank you.